Now, talking about lefties losing it, remember this chat before the election featuring TDS duo actor Robert De Niro and TV host Bill Maher?
If he wins the election, you won't be on the show anymore. He'll come looking for me. There'll be things that happen that none of us can imagine. That's what happens in that kind of a dictatorship, which is what he says. Let's believe him. Take him at his word.
I did from the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, I said from the very beginning, this guy is never going to concede power.
A dictatorship? Well, no one has come for Robert De Niro, and Bill Maher is still on TV. And now he will be meeting President Donald Trump at the White House. This has been set up by one of Maher's recent guests and one of Trump's friends, rock star Kid Rock.
In one of the more unexpected political developments in recent memory, comedian and TV host Bill Maher, known for his acidic wit and consistent criticism of Donald Trump, is reportedly set to meet with the former president at the White House. The news has stirred reactions across the political spectrum, not least because this isn't anything anyone saw coming. Maher, whose HBO show Real Time with Bill Maher has for years served as a platform for scathing critiques of Trump's presidency and political movement, has long been regarded as a fixture of liberal commentary. His past warnings about Trump's authoritarian tendencies, coupled with his open disdain for what he once called the MAGA cult, make the schedule sit down a moment thick with irony even more. Curious is the person credited with setting up the meeting, Kid Rock, a musician and unabashed Trump ally who has appeared on Mez's show and evidently served as an unlikely bridge between these two media heavyweights. The idea of Maher stepping into the same space as Trump doing so voluntarily, it has raised eyebrows, invited speculation, and sparked sharp analysis among political commentators, particularly on the right. Check it out.
What do you think about this? I've got to say, I am not a fan of this plan.
Rita, I don't trust Bill Maher, to put it mildly. I mean, the same way that I don't trust Mark Zuckerberg and a lot of these California liberals who are increasingly in Donald Trump's good graces. Having said that, even though I don't trust him, I'm not sure that it's a politically bad move for Donald Trump. There's very little in the way of downside here. Frankly, there's only potential upside. I mean, Rita, before the election, you and I discussed how the 2024 election in America really did not come down necessarily to an ideological right versus an ideological left divide. Rather, you had the MAGA America First Coalition, which was basically a nonpartisan coalition of the common sense. That's how you had so many prominent ex-Democrats, people like RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard there. And then on the other hand, you had the civilizational arsonist, the woke crazies there. Now, again, Bill Maher is a liberal. I disagree with him on more issues than I agree with him on there, but he is very anti-woke. There are some things that he's potentially amenable to the Trump administration's message on, and more importantly, he's got a massive audience. I mean, he has an absolutely massive audience. His show has won God knows how many Emmy Awards here in the United States there. He has genuine reach there. Just kind of colloquially speaking here in my circles there, people watch his show. I mean his message gets out there. So if Donald Trump can kind of bring him in, and if Bill Maher can at least become slightly less hysterically Trump derangement syndrome induced, I'm not getting my hopes up for that, by the way, but if there's any possibility of that happening there, seems like it's worth it to me. Again, I don't trust the guy there, but I see very little in the way of downside for this play.
Let's talk about the underlying themes in this wild Bill Maher Donald Trump saga, because there's a lot going on beneath the surface. First off, the idea of Trump derangement syndrome takes center stage, with Ma being called out as someone who just can't see Trump clearly. Even when he agrees with some of his ideas, it's like he's willing to criticize the left all day long, but when it comes to Trump, he hits a mental wall. That contradiction sets the tone for a bigger conversation about media bias and cultural influence, where Maher's massive platform is both praised and side-eyed. Conservatives in the discussion admit he has reached, but argue he's still funneling leftist narratives, whether he realizes it or not. The kicker, though, is the idea of a political realignment, a shift from the classic left-right divide to something more like common sense versus woke insanity. The fact that former Democrats like RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard are now aligning with more populist or conservative messages only fuels that argument. So it looks like a strange meeting between political opposites might actually signal something deeper. A cultural and ideological reshuffling where influence, not party, is what really...
I I think he gets a golden run, Josh. Not only is Maher a TDS sufferer, I think he benefits from the bigotry of low expectations conservatives have these days for the left, because occasionally, yes, he'll say something that's anti-woke, he'll point out some sensible point of view, something the right has been saying for years, and we all stand around and clap like he's said something profound, even though it's really just repeating what has been said by the other side of politics for a long time. But as Megyn Kelly exposed in her chat with Maher, this dude is in a bubble, profoundly ignorant of stuff that he pretends to be passionate about, like election.
Hillary Clinton, of course, is the original election denier. I'm sure you voted for her in 2016.
Well, she's not an election denier.
She absolutely was the OG election denier.
She, first of all, she came out before the sun had risen to concede the election to Trump.
And then spent the next 4 years saying he was illegitimate. He was an illegitimate president.
Okay, well, first of all, she didn't say he was an illegitimate.
Yes, she did.
You tell me exactly what she said.
She said those exact words repeatedly.
I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president.
Okay.
All right, let's break this part of the story down. Because it's more than just an odd political cameo, it's a strategic flex. The meeting between Donald Trump and Bill Maher isn't a random photo op. It's being framed as a deliberate move by Trump to tap into Maher's wide cultural influence. Think about it. Maher has spent years mocking Trump on air, taking jabs at him whenever he can. Yet here we are, Trump's still willing to appear with him. Why? Because Maher's platform is massive. His voice matters, and like it or not, people pay attention when he talks. Now here's the twist. Conservative commentators aren't exactly Maher fans. They eye him with suspicion, accuse him of echoing leftist ideas, and see him as out of touch. But even so, they're admitting Maher's loud anti-woke stance gives him some weight in the game. It's like, we don't like the guy, but he has value. So while they're doubtful there's any real alliance forming, they know even a small shift in Maher's tone on Trump could shake things up culturally. This isn't about flipping Maher overnight, it's about feeling things out, shaking the narrative, and possibly, just possibly, opening a door in the culture war.
What do you say to that? Because, yes, amongst other left-wing commentators and TV hosts, he's far more sensible, far more balanced. But at the end of the day, he has bought all this propaganda about Trump and hasn't bothered to check some of that information, including things like things that have been debunked for years that the left still are pushing these to this day.
Rita, look, I am not a Bill Maher apologist. I'll be very candid with you. I don't even watch his show, actually. But having said that, I've had a number of friends here who have been on his show there. And I can tell you that based on what I've heard from those who have been there on the show with him, some of them have actually tried to talk in private off camera. I won't name names. I won't kind of get into that. But some of them have actually tried to talk about Trump with him off camera there. And they here, there, and everywhere hit a block because he seems to just genuinely have a mental block when it comes to Donald Trump there. He has a very hard time getting over that. Even if he is sympathetic to a lot of his policies there, he's definitely sympathetic to a lot of what Trump says when it comes to the dangers of radical Islam. He's very pro-Israel. I mean, like for free speech. I mean, there's some stuff that he genuinely seems to disagree with the modern left on, but he has a massive holdup when it comes to Donald Trump. That's probably what Donald Trump is thinking in taking this meeting, actually. He's like, okay, this guy's a massive critic of mine. He's got a gargantuan platform. Maybe I can bring him in and like, you know, let's get a McDonald's Happy Meal or something, and I'll show him like I'm not a fascist, that I'm not straight out of Munich in 1933 or something there. Again, maybe not the greatest odds in the world of succeeding there, but I'm just not necessarily seeing the downside here.
Here, the right-wing voices in the piece are basically tossing Bill Maher a backhanded compliment. On one side, they're like, sure, the guy has major reach Emmys, a loyal fan base, years in the spotlight. But right after that comes the disclaimer, don't get too excited just because he slams the woke crowd now and then doesn't mean he's not still selling the same old liberal message. It's like that one friend who agrees with you every now and then and everyone assumes they've switched teams, but really, they're still wearing their old jersey underneath. That's the vibe with Maher right now. He might say things that sound a bit conservative adjacent, but many on the right argue he's still propping up elite narratives they've long rejected, And in the grander scheme, this isn't really about Maher himself. It's about the way public figures shape the cultural climate, often without even realizing it. Thanks for sticking around. If you've made it this far, you're officially in the Smart Crew, dissecting politics, media, and culture one hot take at a time. If you liked the video, smash that like, leave a comment with your thoughts, and hit subscribe for more deep dives, sharp breakdowns, and a little controlled chaos. Ring the bell so you never miss a drop, and as always, thanks for being part of the ride. Catch you next time.